Okay, this is kind of in furtherance to my video about abuse in public life, but it's a bit more specific. I've been watching video clips from The Sun, and I don't like to admit that because I don't like The Sun newspaper, but I must admit they've got a good collection of clips entitled MPs Behaving Badly, uploaded to YouTube, and it's just a series of shots over the last roughly 10-15 years of colourful moments in the House of Commons, and it's pretty engaging viewing because it shows the vibrancy of our democracy, although also at times how pedantic and frankly childish our elected parliamentarians can be. I still think it is important that a robust chamber has a place. I think it's important that members do robustly debate issues. I don't want it to be overly sanitised, although clearly there is parliamentary language to be upheld. But I want to talk about a more specific point, which is so-called sexism in politics. Now, when I hear reports about women MPs getting rape threats, that is disgusting and it's wrong. From trolls or online on their websites, directed in that sort of way, that is clearly wrong. There's no justification for it. I think it's totally compatible to criticise someone without going into the gutter and without making any sort of threats. But when it comes to the chamber and when it comes to parliamentary language, I have often seen a situation whereby certain women MPs frankly seem to hide behind the sexism thing. What I mean by that is, I'll give a few examples, and it was in these clips, I think it was the fourth video. Jeremy Corbyn, Theresa May. Now, I'm not a fan of Corbyn, right? I don't like much of his politics, etc, etc. But there was a particular exchange where May was lambasting him. This was during Prime Minister's Questions. This would have been about, I guess, 2 years ago. And Corbyn supposedly muttered under his breath, "Stupid woman." Now, if he said that, it's unparliamentary, he shouldn't have said it. But it seems a bit absurd that she can lambast him in very colourful language, yet if he muttered that, oh, that's terrible. And Patrick McLaughlin, then Transport Secretary, and other Tories immediately got out their pitchforks and wanted Corbyn to be named. This, to me, I think they were definitely milking up the sexism thing there. It was a non-issue. I'm not sure if May herself was even bothered by it. Then Andrea Leadsom got up to lambast the Speaker's response to it. Now, Bercow, I think, handled it well. He honestly said he hadn't seen what had happened. You know, he can't have eyes in the back of his head. As much as a speaker may have to try, he just gave an honest response. He hadn't seen what happened. He wasn't doubting Patrick McLaughlin's claims, but he hadn't seen what happened. And then Andrea Leadsom accused him of not apologising when he called her a stupid woman. Now, it's probably mistaken to bring woman into the critique, but why is it okay for female members to talk about men in derogatory terms? And yes, sometimes that is gender specific. I believe Emily Thornberry came out with it once against, I think it was David Lidington actually. I forget the exact exchange, but she used terms that were blatantly gender specific. No reprimand, nothing. That was fine. I'm sick and tired of certain women MPs not wanting equal treatment, wanting special treatment. Okay? I think one reason Thatcher was so strong is precisely because she didn't wallow in this notion of, oh, it's because I'm a woman. These MPs need to get over themselves and stop assuming that every time a male colleague disagrees with them, oh, it's because I'm a woman. It's really, it's an aspect of feminist thinking I find incredibly intolerant, because putting someone else in that position, insinuating that it's always sexism, is basically saying no matter what he says, oh, he's a sexist. It's pathetic. You know, politics is robust, debate is robust. Maybe Corbyn shouldn't have said it, but really, it was barely even audible. It's a non-issue, and for the Tories to lap that up is just an example of this. But it's seen on both parties, and I just get fed up with certain women MPs constantly playing this feminist victimhood card. I'm not talking about the rape threats, by the way. That is an extreme example of misogyny, but that isn't from male colleagues, that's from trolls online. When male colleagues are disagreeing with them, I've seen it also in general election coverage when you have a group of MPs being interviewed by journalists. I saw one woman MP, I forget who she was now, but she got very angry because she had supposedly been interrupted, and she accused her male colleague of mansplaining, and she went off on a rant. Look, it's quite simple. Equality equals equality. Feminists need to just stop playing this self-pity game. It's pathetic, but it's also intolerant because it shackles debate, because it puts a man in a position where no matter what he says, he's being sexist. It really pisses me off because I do think it shackles debate, and that isn't good for democracy. Male members are going to be walking on eggshells because I got the impression actually that Bercow went easy on women members precisely because he didn't want to be accused of sexism. And that cannot be right. Surely women members should be treated equally, respectfully, but equally. And it seems to me that certain women members, I'm not talking about everyone, they want special treatment. They seem to think it's okay for women to lambast men, but as soon as male colleagues retort in kind, that's sexism. I'm sick and tired of the double standards of feminism. And that's, I think it's often seen in politics. For all the talk we hear about, it's a patriarchy, women actually are entitled to give abuse that men don't get away with. If you look closely, that's precisely what happens, and it's really irritating. Now, some people might say, well, I'm not there, I'm not experiencing what they're experiencing, but the Commons is broadcast, and I'm referring to what we can see in those sort of exchanges. The double standards are obvious. I will never vote for a woman because she says, and this might be changing the subject, but I voted for women and I voted for men. When I voted for women, it's because I believed they were the best candidate. They had the best arguments. I will never vote for someone because I'm a woman. And I will never be sympathetic to an argument, it's because I'm a woman, it's because I'm black, it's because I'm white, unless there is very solid basis for that. People need to stop hiding behind their demographics. And feminists always do this. They always make everything about sexism. Every time a man disagrees with them. Just get over yourselves. It's pathetic. And all it does is shackle debate.